Today, we are talking with the one, the only Frank Terlep. We're talking about how to open and successfully operate an ADAS calibration center. And we're going to have fun while we talk about it. Stay tuned.
Welcome to Body Bangin', your podcast for all things body. Auto body, that is. And now, introducing Body Bangin's host, Mickey Woods of Mickey Woods Marketing. Mickey is a former auto collision center owner and is now a marketing and business development expert to shops across the globe.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to today's episode of Body Bangin', where we are featuring people from the Southeast Collision Conference, everywhere from vendors to speakers to attendees. And of course, we want to thank our sponsor, Lombard Equipment, for sponsoring this series. What's up, Lombard Equipment? If you guys need equipment, you need to contact Lombard. Let them help you out. Don't do your shopping online. Talk to a real person and get what you really need in your shop. And if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you're subscribing, for goodness sakes, and follow us if you're listening on Apple Podcasts. We are going to dive right in because I've got my good buddy, a lot of people's good buddy, Frank Terlep, on the show today. Hi, Frank.
How we doing, Mickey?
Great. So Frank actually spoke at the Southeast Collision Conference in 2023. And so he had an incredible session. It was an hour long. I hear you packed 4 hours worth of stuff in an hour. And now you're about to pack an hour into 20 minutes.
We'll do that. We'll figure it out.
Yeah. So for all of you that don't know Frank, or maybe you don't know what he's up to, because Frank, you've been everywhere in the industry. I love it. Before we went live, I'm like, Frank, what is your role today? Because tomorrow it could be 5 more things. So first of all, he's the brand new CIC chair this year, which is super cool. Love that. And then also he's the VP of ADAS Solutions and Emerging Technology, which of course a lot of us know Frank with everything surrounding ADAS. And that's what you talked about, right, Frank?
Correct. Talked about how to open and operate a successful ADAS services and calibration business. So yes.
Yeah. And I'm excited. I told Frank already, I'm super excited to talk about this. And that may sound silly, but I work with a lot of different shops, and a lot of shops are thinking about this. What does that look like? Separate from what they're doing in their shop. And if you guys listen to tomorrow's episode, we'll be talking about with Josh McFarlane, how to be doing all of those types of ADAS calibrations in your shop. Where today with Frank, we're talking about opening up a separate facility, right, Frank?
Correct. Well, a separate business, because
separate business. Okay.
If you've got a facility big enough, Mickey, then you could possibly have the business in your facility. Right?
True. Good point. And people are doing it so successfully right now. What is the big draw?
Well, the biggest draw, number one, this is, in my opinion, I think you've heard me say this before, but it's, in my opinion, the biggest opportunity our industry has seen in 20 years.
Yeah.
I mean, we got 100 million vehicles on the road today with ADAS, but all you have to do now is look forward, because every vehicle manufactured from 2022 on is going to have ADAS on it.
Right.
So that means it's only going to get better.
Yeah. I love it.
Or worse, depending on what you're looking at.
Yeah, exactly. More of this. I totally agree. And what I see a lot, and you can agree or disagree, is a lot of shops don't know where to begin with the calibrations. So it's like, is it even getting done? What are you seeing with that?
Well, so again, I'll use another company's numbers. We'll use CCC's numbers, okay?
Yeah, okay.
In their last crash course, 10 to 12% of all present year vehicles were seeing a calibration and or programming line on it, which is way too low.
Whoa. Only 10 to 12%?
10 to 12%. Let's give the industry a little bit the benefit of the doubt. Let's make it 15. That's still way below where it needs to be.
Wow.
And the problem is the industry is still trying to figure out, well, how do I identify it? What is it? Where is it? So, I mean, that's today, I think, our biggest challenge, but it also is our biggest opportunity.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
it's a huge opportunity because if you take your typical repairer today, collision repairer, and
Yeah.
if you look at their typical vehicle mix, and you know this from a marketing perspective, it's 5 years or newer vehicles, right?
Right. Right.
So, so that's 2017 and newer. Well, most of those vehicles, 50% or more, are going to have ADAS on it.
Yeah.
So
Good
if you
point.
look at your typical collision shop, right,
Mhm.
50% of their cars have some type of ADAS on it.
Right. Very good point. So when you were talking to, so like I said, Frank talked for an hour and you had a group of people, group of shop owners, I
Good
imagine
group,
most of
a
them were.
good group.
What I assume they're interested in this because it's a great opportunity, another profit center for you as a shop owner, right?
Yep, yep.
So where do they even begin with it? Because as we know, as you just said, let's say 15% of vehicles are even getting these calibrations. So as a shop owner, it seems a little overwhelming to go jump into this pool. Is that
Well,
true?
the first step is in their mind, they have to make a decision. Do I want to be in the business, the ADAS services and calibration business or not?
Yes.
I mean, it's got to be
Good
that
point.
mental, I want to be in the business, right?
Right, right. The
There's going to
buy-in.
be a
Yeah.
percentage. There's going to be a percentage that say, I don't want anything to do with it. I'll have someone else do it.
Yeah.
That's fine. So step one is, do you want to be in it or not?
Yeah.
Then the question becomes, okay, what's my market look like? What's
Mhm.
my building look like? How much money do I want to? I mean, there's a checklist of things that we talk about. Is all right. Do you have the building?
Mhm.
The building properly equipped? Do you have a flat floor? Do you have
Mhm.
proper lighting? Do you have the proper size of the area you need? So
Right.
those are some of the, I'll call the basics,
Yes,
right?
yes.
And
Mhm.
then do you have the money to invest in equipment? Because the typical investment, Mickey, for a business outside of a facility, so your separate building,
Uh-huh.
is going to be between 150 and 225,000 bucks.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. To
Now the
equip
good,
it and everything.
yes,
Okay.
and in there is square footage of 4,000 square feet with lease numbers as everything, right? So,
Right. Okay.
but if you're going, and that's for 4,000 square feet, which probably allows them to do 10 or 12 calibrations a day.
Wow.
But but if you want to grow some more, you double that to 8,000 square feet. And so
Okay.
you spend more money. But
Okay.
so again, summary, do you want to be in it? Do you have the facilities? Do you want to spend the money on the equipment? And then you got to find the people. Because
Yes.
typically, and we all know the problem with people today, right?
Right.
And so,
Yeah. Just those people. Just get some people. Okay.
well,
Yeah.
or finding good people.
Yeah.
But so, and you typically are not going, if you're going to do it in your own business, you're not going to just have your body tech do the work. They're just
Right.
typically, that's not what they do, right?
Yes. Yes.
This is detail, this is electronics, this blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so you're
Yeah.
going to have to find the right person as well.
Right.
So those are the things to think about. That if you're going to get into it,
Hmm.
do I want to do it? Do I have the space? Do I want to spend the money on equipment? And can I find the people?
And when we're talking people, what are we like for a 4,000 square foot space? How much staffing is needed
Well,
for
you
something
need
like that?
tech. You need
Okay.
tech. Okay. You're going to need someone to manage, and I'll put that in parentheses,
Right.
manage the business in terms of phone calls, deliveries,
Mm.
right? Scheduling. And in some cases, you may need a porter to
Okay.
pick up and deliver
Right.
vehicles, right?
Right.
So that's probably it.
Okay. So not terrible.
No, 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 no. And again, the benefit of calibration business, very high margin.
Right.
70%, 70% GP. So pretty good business.
That's why everybody that I'm talking to that's going into it is loving it because that
Yeah.
profit margin.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
again, when I say 225 grand in expenses to open up the business, you know what it costs to open a collision center. That's a lot less
Yeah.
than a collision
Right.
center.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, and then some of the shops that are doing this, I know that they're also getting leads from other shops. So it's not just their own shops that they're servicing, they're able to service other local shops. And what do you think about that?
So the other thing is, when I talk about if you're going to get into the business, create a separate LLC or business
Right.
entity,
Right.
because then you can have a different name, right?
Right.
So again, now I can sublet to myself.
Yes.
And then you have the opportunity to also, without having a competitive issue, right?
Yeah.
Body shop A servicing body shop B.
Right.
You have an easier time of doing other shops in the area.
Right.
Now, the other thing I tell shops is if you're going to go into business, the first thing you want to do is secret shop. Who's doing it in your marketplace?
Yes.
What are they charging for?
Right.
All of that. And the second thing is to figure out what's your vehicle mix in your marketplace you're going to service. Right. So if you're in a rural area with a bunch of trucks, you probably don't have the same opportunity if you're in an urban area with a lot of 5 years or newer vehicles.
Right.
So those are a couple of things I also ask them to do. But I think the other thing is the actual statistics state 80% of collision centers and or mechanical shops don't have the space.
I'm not surprised though.
Well, no, I mean, remember, calibrations are relatively new.
Right.
And when shops were built, they weren't built with a flat floor.
Right.
They weren't built to have adjustable lighting. Most of them have metal toolboxes all over the walls. I mean,
yes. Exactly the opposite of what you want for a calibration center. Yeah.
Correct. Right. and so that means if you are going to get in the business, 80% of your competition is not going to be able to do it unless they're going to do the same thing.
Good point. Good point.
So again, great opportunity. But, the other thing you've got you need to do it right. I mean, I think you would agree that repairing a vehicle correctly is everybody's responsibility, number one.
100%.
Right? And that means do it right. Get the right equipment. Outfit the facility correctly. Don't do calibrations in parking lots. Just do it right.
Yeah. Well, and when you talk about that, it leads me to my next question is the training piece of it. Is there a lot of training out there for calibrations and that type of thing? Where would you send your people to go learn how to do this?
Well, so it talks about there's different type of training, right? So let's talk about, you've got ICAR. I'm going to use ICAR because they've spent a tremendous amount of money in their new training facility in Chicago. And they literally have, I think it's a 3-day on-site ADAS calibration session there.
Wow.
And they go through multiple types of vehicles, multiple types of equipment, including OEM. So you've got that.
Okay.
Then you've got your equipment suppliers. So Hunter, Autel, Launch.
Right.
Blah, 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 right?
Yeah.
And so if you're buying some equipment from somebody, you should expect to get the proper training from that particular vendor, right?
Right.
But no one's really out there training people how to run a calibration business. It's brand new.
Yeah.
Right? It's new.
Right. Yeah. That's the interesting part about it, because oftentimes when, you go into business, you're like, oh, okay, I can see what these guys are doing, so I will copy that. And with so few out there, it's like, it seems as if people are figuring it out on the fly, and it seems that way, and it might be pretty accurate.
Well, and that is pretty accurate, but at the same time, operating a business, and then this as well, there's core basics, right? You get the proper marketing, proper sales, blah, blah, blah. So that stuff doesn't change.
Yes.
Right. And you being the marketing person, you understand that that's going to be a key component, particularly in a new industry, new market, new business.
Right.
So to me, I think marketing is going to be one of the big business challenges. Yeah. Because remember, most of our industry are technicians trying to become entrepreneurs, right?
Yes.
So, but again, running a business, you still need to do it the right way. And then you got to have the technical training.
So how many people are you seeing? Like, how many shops are kind of buying into this and coming on board? Do you feel like it's based off of, you talk about this type of thing a lot. So do you feel like shop owners are pretty receptive to it, or is it still kind of wait and see kind of thing? What's the vibe?
Well, and again, my history, my experience in the industry, you've got the 1%ers and then you got the 10 percenters,
Yeah.
and then you got the rest, right?
Right.
And so the 1 percenters and the 10 percenters got it. They're all
doing it.
in.
Yeah.
They're either building buildings, they're changing their facilities,
Right.
or whatever. So
right.
All of those 1 to 10 percenters, they're all in because they got it real quick, right?
Yes.
And by the way, all the big boys have made a decision to be in, but they've done it. They've done it a little differently. So Caliber went out and bought a company called ProTech. Gerber went out and bought a company called Mobile All Solutions. Crash Champions bought a company called ATE. Blah, 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 blah. There's others. Anyway,
yeah.
So they've all gone out and said, wait a minute, I don't have the expertise in-house. I'm going to go buy it.
Smart.
And they did that. They did that 2 or 3 years ago. And when I saw that, it was like the canary in the coal mine for me. I'm like,
right.
They're not going to do it in-house. I wonder what the rest of the industry is going to do. And that's what triggered me to really start the push on what needs to be done to open a business.
Yeah. Very wise observation there, Mr. Terlep. I think that's key is watching, because oftentimes we can see things coming before they really arrive. Like you're saying with this, when you start to see the moves, it kind of opens your eyes like, oh, okay. I got this.
If you hear something multiple times, it's like, well, wait a minute, something's going on here.
Right. Well, and the shops that are doing this, if you're listening and you're a shop thinking about it, I've not heard personally, and Frank, you can speak on it. I've not heard shops that are struggling, that are having a tough time. I mean, it's really positives when they're talking about this. It's a learning curve to some extent with the training, and everybody has to get into an adjustment like any new business. But it's really, and again, this is a little bit biased because I'm only hearing what I'm hearing. Maybe people aren't running to me to complain, but I'm hearing mostly positives about all of it.
Yeah. I mean, again, the 1 percenters and the 10 percenters are the ones doing it.
Yeah.
They're great business operators in their own sense, right?
Good point.
And so they've taken that business sense that they're doing in their own shops and they're applying it to another different business, but the concepts are the same.
Right.
And again, if you think about those who are doing it, I'm an MSO, so I already have a book of business
right
away from my own shops.
Yes.
That's where you're seeing the most, Mickey, is you're seeing the 2 or 3 or 4 location, 10 location, whatever the case may be. They've figured out I'm going to do my own.
Yep.
And so they have this guaranteed business coming, right?
Right.
It's the businesses that go out and say, I'm going to be a calibration business. I don't have anybody in the marketplace. And now I have to go out and build that business.
Yeah.
It's not as easy as you may think.
That's a good point.
Number one is the industry still is not as educated as it should be on ADAS.
Yes.
Right? That's, only 50% of shops are scanning today, which is crazy. Or writing it on a repair order anyway.
Yeah.
The second thing is shops don't like to lose custody of a vehicle. And you know that from your shop days. But now I'm going to send this car to another facility to do the calibration. So they're somewhat hesitant to that, right?
Right.
And that's why they sort of default to mobile. But here's what I tell shops who says, well, I'm just going to use mobile. Like, okay. So a mobile guy's going to come to your shop, but you've already decided your shop isn't built to have calibrations done in your shop. How can a mobile guy come to your shop and perform a calibration in a shop that's not qualified to do or to have calibrations done in it?
Right.
And so that's the conundrum that shops are dealing with today.
Now, from a liability perspective, how does that work when using a mobile person to potentially come on site and do those? When it comes to ADAS, if the calibrations are not done appropriately, where does that liability fall?
Anytime you select a vendor to do work for you in a sublet environment, you as the shop owner are always responsible.
Okay.
Always responsible.
Yeah.
So if they screw up, it's on you.
Right. That's scary.
But so think about it. So, okay, I need a sublet. I just don't have the space. Right. And so I'm going to send it somewhere to have it done.
Yeah.
Well, you should have the same checklist that you expect if you were going to do it to get from them.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Not just getting an invoice that says calibration $100.
Right.
No, what did you do? When did you do it? Where are the pictures? All of that stuff. Because the liability, as you just said, we just talked about, doesn't go away.
Yeah. Well, and ADAS is so important, and it's freaky to me. I drive a newer vehicle, and there's so much ADAS equipment on the thing. I mean, I have to turn some of the stuff off. Otherwise, my seat's buzzing and my bells are, it's like, oh my God. But to think, if it's not calibrated properly, if the ADAS repairs aren't done properly, like it's so dangerous. And these vehicles are now so reliant upon it, between like lane departure and then I forget what it's called, but as you're coming closer to a vehicle, the
adaptive cruise control.
Adaptive cruise control. Yes. When these things are off, it's deadly. We're not talking about like something little. This is a big deal, right?
Well, and as I said in my session, ADAS affects three things: steering, braking, and acceleration.
Oh, okay? Good God.
And
only those three.
And if those three things, if one or two or three of those things don't work when they're supposed to, it's not a good thing.
Right.
It's not a good thing.
Yes, this is what I'm talking about. So the fact that, thank God, I guess, in some regards, that the consumer is out there just bopping along, not realizing that this was never calibrated properly when they had their vehicle repaired. They don't even know to ask. The issue is, are the shops going to take responsibility for doing what we need to do to keep the person safe and their family safe in the vehicle?
Well, so one of the first things we have this thing called the 7 moments of truth, but I just want to talk about two of them. So at the beginning, every shop, when a vehicle arrives, the shop should identify all the ADAS on the vehicle.
Yes.
And my reason is, number one, if I don't know what's on the car, how do I write a proper sheet?
True.
But number two, if I don't know what's on the car, how do I have the conversation with Mrs. Smith that says, here's what you have on your car, here's what we're going to have to replace. And oh, by the way, that means you need a calibration, which means it may add another day to the repair, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
So that's at the front end, right?
Yes.
On the back end, there's two things that they should do. Number one, they always should deliver the vehicle back to the consumer with all the ADAS systems up. Because that means it's back to OEM settings, number one. And the second thing all shops should do before they get the car back is they need to take the damn car on a drive to make sure the stuff works.
True. And how do you check it if you don't know what you're supposed to be checking, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Interesting. So for every shop, this should be part of the intake process.
100%.
Yeah.
It should be standard SOP. Step one, car comes in, what's on the car? Period.
Why do you think that's not happening?
Again, I think the industry is still in this learning mode, right?
Yeah.
Well, again, you've been in the business a long time. I mean, our industry is so habit driven, right?
Yes.
I've been doing this this for so long. And their intake process has been set.
Right. It's like moving the Titanic.
We're moving their cheese, right? They don't like their cheese.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. And I think a lot of it is we get comfortable. We do what we do every day. So that's what we do. Yep. And so trying to adjust and change, like you're saying, you and I talking, it's like, well, why don't you just do that? It's so easy. And then when it actually comes to practically putting these things into place, it's difficult to change that behavior, those habits, because that's what it is really we've developed these habits of how we do things.
And when I say this, I hope the listeners don't take this wrong. Inherently, people are lazy. They want to take the shortcut. Yeah. And again, this is not derogatory to anybody else. Please don't take it derogatory.
Right. Yeah.
But we all want a shortcut. And a shortcut to me in this scenario is, let me start writing the estimate. Let me talk to the customer. Oh, I'll get to what's on the car later, right? When I'm writing the blueprint. Well, in my mind, it's too late because I'm not having that conversation with the consumer.
Yeah.
So I think that's one of the reasons.
Yeah. And I agree with you. I think education has become so important for shops. That component of educating of what we're doing, why we're doing it all. And we've never, as an industry, we've not done that. We never have. Anyway.
We haven't done it well.
Yeah. There we go. Yes. Right. And this is another piece to that. But saying that, we need to educate ourselves. And I think the education really, it starts with us as shops, is putting in, I spoke with, Andrew Battenhorst, and he won the BMW, I think BMW CCRC award. And I asked him what separated his shop. And he said, first and foremost, our procedures for everything that we do. And I feel like what you and I are talking about right now really goes back to procedures and following procedures. And when you have those procedures, then you can create new habits. And I think that's where we're at with this whole thing, that it needs to stop being an excuse that it's new, we're learning. Like, okay, it's here. Let's learn. Oh, yes. And come on, let's go.
Well, and think about, I fly a lot, right?
Yes, yes.
Think about what a pilot does every time. It's the same damn checklist, but they do the same. They go through it meticulously every time.
Right.
When you talk about procedures or processes, that's what we need to do, right? Is follow it, make sure you did it, just to verify it got done, because I can put a procedure in place. Yeah. But if I don't have a way to validate the procedure got done, how do I know it got done?
100%. 100%. Well, Frank, for those people that are listening that are thinking this might be something they want to do, but they may have some additional questions, who should they reach out to? Would you be somebody to talk to? Would you recommend they reach out to somebody else?
I think they can reach out to me. First thing, though, there's a 350-page guide that is much more detailed than we have talked about here, Mickey.
Right.
And it's on our website, autotexcelerators.com.
Okay.
And it's free.
I'm going to link that.
Yeah, it's free. So all you have to do is put in your name and email address, and that's it. And so you can get it. That's free. And then if they have personal questions, I would ask them to send me an email.
Okay.
At frank.terlep@opusivs.com.
Okay. And now the guide breaks down more, it breaks down everything. 150 pages, I would imagine.
Let me tell you what's in it. And then it has everything from your company's existing position, evaluating that.
Okay.
To your goals and objectives, creating a separate company, facility, equipment requirements, personnel, 7 moments of truth, finding and selling your customers, business and workflow management, how to price out your services, how to communicate with your customers, documentation, performance metrics, and investment in ROI. So it's pretty detailed. Guide.
I love that. Okay. So first, get the guide. Check out the guide. 150 pages seems like a lot of pages. That's a lot of words.
Well, it's a PowerPoint. They're PowerPoint slides.
Oh, cool.
So
okay.
It's not a book. Okay.
Okay.
It's not a book.
All right.
There's lots of pictures. There's lots of pictures.
Okay, good. Oh my gosh. We live in such a culture of, God forbid anybody sit and read anything anymore, right? There's not some pictures or something to break it up. We're like, no, can't do it.
Lots of pictures.
Okay, so download the guide. I'm going to put a link to the website. And if you have additional questions, I also have Frank's email in the description. You can talk with him. This is definitely something that even if you don't think you want to or you're not interested, you need to educate yourself.
Absolutely. 100%.
Yeah. So anything else you want to share with us before we head off for the day?
I'll just repeat what I said earlier. Number one, it's the biggest opportunity our industry has seen in 20 years.
Yeah.
And number two, if you're going to do it right.
Yeah. I love that. Well, Frank, it's so good to see you again.
You too. Always good. Always good to be with you, Mickey.
Yes.
And by the way, just for everybody on there, she does an awesome job.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. This whole series from the Southeast Collision Conference is blowing up. People are really loving all of this. Yeah, it's so cool. So if you like this, you want to learn more about the ADAS situation, check out the website, listen to tomorrow's podcast where we go into depth even more about ADAS, potentially doing it in your shop, what that looks like. So lots of resources for you guys. There's no excuse. You have no excuse anymore. Sorry.
Oh, no, they'll find one. Trust me, they'll find one.
Right, exactly. So thank you all for listening. And thank you again to our fantastic sponsor, Lombard Equipment, selling new and refurbished equipment from Maine to Miami. And we will see you all next time. Bye.
If you enjoyed today's show, make sure you hit the subscribe button. We have some incredible topics and guests coming your way you will not want to miss. If you are watching on YouTube and don't want to miss the latest and greatest, you'll want to hit the bell after subscribing, so you will get a pop-up each time a video podcast goes live. To our devoted fans, would you mind paying it forward and sharing this little gem with someone else you think may benefit from it? Much love from all of us here at Body Bangin', all things auto body.